Well, a telemarketer called a home one day, and a small voice answered, whispered, "Hello?" "Well, hello, what's your name?" Well, still whispering, the voice said, "Jimmy." "How old are you, Jimmy?" "I'm 4. "Oh, good. Is your mother home?" "Yes, but she's busy." "Okay. Is your father home?" "Well, he's busy too." "Well, I see. Is there anyone else who's there?" "The police." "The police? Can I talk with one of them?" "They're busy." "Any other grown-ups there?" "The firemen." "Well, may I speak with the firemen, please?" "They're all busy." "Jimmy, all these people are in your house and I can't talk with any of them? What are they doing?" "Looking for me." Oh, I remember playing hide and seek as a kid. Do you? Maybe not quite as intensely as Jimmy has taken it, but it certainly was a go-to game for me and my friends. And it still is one of the favorites to play with my own kids. But it seems that somewhere between Ollie Ollie Oxenfree and Kick the Can, something forms within us that makes hiding a reactive part of our psyche. I mean, somewhere between the schoolyard and the boardroom, we start to believe that the truth is harder than a lie, and that the dark seems safer than the light, as Francesca Battistelli's wonderful song, "If We're Honest," begins. Well, perhaps you find yourself hiding from something in your past. Perhaps there's a part of you that you are afraid to reveal. Or maybe there is a mistake that you are running from. Something you fear that, if revealed, would harm your relationships or your job, or change the way you are perceived for the worse. So you hide it. But unfortunately, hiding then can become all-consuming. I mean, we have to tell more and more lies to keep up with the first. And then hiding becomes the focus of our energy. But there is good news, because there's a fundamental truth of our faith that calls us, that tells us no matter what we try to hide, there is one from whom we cannot hide, one who knows us fully, one who has searched us and knows us, knows our restless thoughts, knows any wickedness within us, and loves us through it. This is what the magnificent poetry of Psalm 139 tells us. There is nowhere we can go that God will not be. Whether in the light of heaven or the depth of Sheol, God is there. God seeks us and finds us. God searches within us and knows us. And while that may be scary, given our heart's desire to hide, this is good news. Because the one who knows us is the God who forgives, the God who loves unconditionally. This is the one who sees whether there is any wickedness within us and then leads us in the way of everlasting. The one who brings light to our darkness and direction to our ways. God's inescapable, knowing presence is a reason not to keep hiding, but to embrace the light. Not to let our natural proclivity to hide hinder our ability to trust God and follow where God is leading us. I mean, just look at Jacob in this morning's story from Genesis. He is on the run. He's hiding from his twin brother Esau. That's because he stole Esau's birthright. If you remember, the special blessing that belongs to the firstborn. Jacob tricked their blind father Isaac into giving him the blessing instead. And so when Esau found out, he plotted to kill Jacob. Well, news of this plot got to their mother, Rebekah, who then sent Jacob away to Haran, to the land of her relatives. And so here he is, on his way, having left Beersheba. And the sun has set, so he stops for the night. But I guess he forgot to bring his travel pillow, so he pulls up a rock and drifts off to sleep. And he dreams. And boy, does he dream. He dreams of a ladder connecting heaven and earth and angels everywhere. And the Lord speaks to Jacob, tells him that his offspring will be like the dust, and reminds him that God will be with him and will keep him wherever he goes. But I wonder, did you notice what doesn't come up at all? God never mentions what Jacob is running from, why he's hiding. Yes, eventually Jacob will be redeemed by reconciliation with Esau, but that's not what the story is about today. Right now, this story is about the God who doesn't wait for us to be squeaky clean in order to come to us, in order to bless us. This is the God of Abraham and the God of Isaac, and who from this experience on becomes known also as the God of Jacob. This is the God who comes to Jacob in a dream, and despite the deceitful ways of his past, blesses him, promises to be with him, to keep him wherever he goes, to never leave him. That is God's promise. What an assurance. What a gift. And then when Jacob awakes from his dream, he says, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." How awesome is this place? So awesome that Jacob makes a pillar out of the stone pillow and pours oil on top of it and names the place Bethel, which means the dwelling place of God, the house of God. And this is good news for us, because we too are bearers of this promise. We, the faithful followers, who, yes, we still sin, who hurt others, who have things that we hide and run away from, God is with us and will keep us wherever we go. This is the promise that has resounded throughout the Bible to all people whom God has called. To Abraham, "I will establish my covenant to be God to you." To Moses, "I will be with you." To Jeremiah, "For I am with you to deliver you." To the disciples, "And remember, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." Of course, we remember that this promise comes with a direction as well. Go and make disciples of all nations. Pluck up and pull down. Destroy and overthrow, build and plant. Deliver my people from the bondage of slavery. This is what happens when we open our hearts to the truth of God's presence and God's call. We are freed. Freed from everything we hide. Free to become what God intends for us. As Pastor Casey Thomas says, we are no longer scoundrel Jacob, but a man on his way to becoming Israel. We are no longer a second-grade teacher, but an inner-city prophet. We are no longer a middle manager, but a non-profit director. We are no longer a nurse, but a medical missionary. We are now carriers of God's promise, just as Jacob has become. And all we have to sustain us on our way is this promise that God makes to Jacob. Know that I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Whether you go on mission trips to Guatemala or spend time each day with acts of kindness to those around you, remember that our awesome God is with you. And in that way, like Jacob, we consecrate those places we go. Not because we are holy, but because God has walked with us, and his presence changes those places. They become the places where we see God most clearly, because God is standing right next to us. And we slap our heads and echo the wonderful words of Jacob, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." And because they are the words of Jacob, they are more wonderful still. Jacob, the usurper, the thief, the scoundrel, is also the carrier of the promise of God. Surely those of us who are disciples and usurpers and thieves and scoundrels as well, we can carry it too. You encompass me, O Lord, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. If I climb to heaven, you are there. If I make the grave my bed, you are there also. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand will lead me. Thanks be to God. Amen.